So this is a webinar on scheduling treatment plans with year-end benefits. This is a great strategy to use in your fourth quarter as you have patients with outstanding treatment plans and expiring benefits. Really, the idea is to help them help themselves with using those benefits and getting them into the office in what's been a kind of a tumultuous year, an up and down year for all of us. So this will really help tidy up the fourth quarter and finish strong in 2020. So I wanted to start with a thought here. We want to help others solve their problems. Standing farther away, we can often see matters more clearly than they do. And the greatest service that we can render to someone is helping him or her help themselves. And this applies in many contexts, but it certainly applies in this context where, as the dentist, as the front office team, you know better than the patient in many cases what their pending treatment is and their remaining insurance benefits. So we really want to help them see those matters more clearly and help them help themselves. So just a little bit of a humor here, but coming from the classic Jerry Maguire, I want to break this down very simply. What we're going to be telling our patients is help me, help you. That's what we're trying to do. Help me, help you. And we want them to understand the situation with their treatment plans and their benefits and then get them scheduled for treatment. Now, on the other side, when we're talking about insurance companies, we want to tell them, show me the money. After completing the treatment, we're going to go to the insurance companies and bill those claims out and say, show me the money. So this is the two sides of the coin that we're working with when it comes to outstanding plans and expiring benefits. So it is quite of an easy sell to patients. Number one, you have important treatment that needs to be completed, whether it's a crown, whether it's an extraction, even an ortho case. You have some important treatment that needs to be completed or that you wanted to get done, but for whatever reason, you deferred that to a later time. Number two, and most importantly, insurance will pay for all or a large portion of it. And that is going to really get them in the door. Once they realize that they're not going to have to foot the entire bill, they will be much more likely to come in. And also importantly, those benefits will reset after the end of the year for most insurance plans that are based on the calendar year. So if you don't do this now, you will be leaving insurance money on the table. This is the message that we want to get across effectively to all eligible patients when it comes to expiring benefits. Now, as I mentioned, this is really going to help you boost production in the fourth quarter. We've seen it work wonders for other dentists, other clients of ours, and that's why we felt very much compelled to present this webinar on this topic. So I'm going to just give you an example here. If we just look at, in this example, in the last 9 months, a dentist may have 200 treatment plans that are pending with remaining insurance benefits. So let's say there's an average fee of $800 per plan, meaning treatment plan. So you have a potential production of $160,000 that's just sitting there. And let's say conservatively, only 50% of those patients would agree to schedule. Now, again, these are patients who have pending treatment, so something important needs to be done for their teeth in their mouth, and they have expiring insurance benefits. So it's almost a no-brainer, but conservatively, let's say only 50% of them, for whatever reason, scheduling reasons, or they're concerned about coming in right now, only half of them agree to schedule. Right there, you're looking at an actual production of $80,000. And this is just, in this example, just looking at the last 9 months. You could go back even 2 years, 3 years, try to capture as much as you want. Usually we would recommend about 1 to 2 years, because beyond that, it might be difficult to get those patients in the door. So there might be a much more profitable equation in your reality, in your office. So now we know that it's important. We know what the numbers look like generally. Now, how do we get those patients scheduled, have them come into the office? There's a hard way and an easy way, as with many things in life. The hard way is what many offices are doing. One is just try to remember, hey, who was due for treatment? Let's go look up, John Smith or Sally Constantine or someone else in our office that came in recently that we planned treatment for them. Let's just go from memory and then check their insurance benefits. If they have remaining benefits, let's call or email them. Another one, which is a little bit better but still not ideal, is there's a plan tracker list in PracticeWeb under the appointments list section. And there you can see who has pending treatment plans, and then individually you could go in and check each of their insurance benefits, and if they have anything remaining, you could call and email them. So this is a little bit better because you're using a systematic approach within PracticeWeb, but it's not ideal, not the best way. What is that easy way to schedule those patients? Well, one is part one is use the treatment plan manager report in PracticeWeb, and we're going to demo that for you today. And this is the best way to identify outstanding treatment plans for patients with remaining benefits. And you can choose different criteria for that. Then once you've identified those patients in the report, from that report, you can do a one-click mass email or text or both to see which patients are interested in scheduling the treatment. And then now your team is only focusing on those who have actually responded. So I'm going to show you today how you can offer them online scheduling. You can do two-way texting with them where they can reply to your text message. You can then kind of resolve and get that all coordinated over texting within PracticeWeb, or you can call them. The calling at this point is fine because if they've called in, for example, from your mass email or text, now you know this is a genuinely interested person. I don't mind spending 15 minutes talking to them, figuring out how to get them scheduled and make sure that they understand the treatment that we've proposed in the past and their remaining benefits. It's all about honing in, being efficient, figuring out who are those patients that are going to want to schedule, and then doing what it takes to get them scheduled. So this is the much easier, much more efficient way. Now, I'm going to show you just a moment here how to do some of these things I just discussed. So the first thing I want to show you is the treatment plan manager list that I mentioned. So in PracticeWeb, you would simply go to the reports section, click on the standard, which has all your standard reports, and then there's a report called treatment plan manager. So you would click there, and here we have different criteria that you can use for purposes of determining who shows up on your list. So at the top, you will have the date. You can set any date you like. The default is going to be 1 year prior to today's date. You can do, the beginning of the year if you want. You can do that 1 year, keep it the way it is, whatever your preference is, or you can go further back. Next, you have the benefits. So here you can determine what should be the minimum of the unused benefits for their primary insurance, as well as if you want to go into secondary, you can do that too. I would recommend just clicking the primary and maybe setting a minimum threshold that you're comfortable with. It could be 500, it could be 1,000. Pick that. Don't go into the secondary until you look at your list, and then if you see, hey, we have a lot of these patients, let's narrow in even further, go back out and then set this other criteria for secondary benefits. I'll keep it at 100 for just purpose of this demo. Then you have the code ranges here, so you can choose whether you want to focus on certain types of procedures, whether they're restorative, endo, perio, prost, implant, ortho cases. You can decide if you want to focus in on certain types of procedures, maybe more high value, or just things that you want to focus on to get those scheduled instead of other ones. I would recommend at first just checking all the boxes just to see what you're working with, and then maybe narrowing in if you want to do that. On the billing types, if you do track patients by billing type, whether you have custom ones or the ones that are default in PracticeWeb, you can select those. Also by provider, you can select different providers if you'd like to. For now, I'm going to keep it as all. Then you would, one other criteria actually is excluding patients with future appointments. So this means that if the patient does have an outstanding treatment plan with benefits, but they've already scheduled a future appointment with you, we want to exclude them from the list. Now, this is a judgment call. Maybe they've scheduled for something else, but not for the treatment plan that you also think might be important for them. So you might want to uncheck that just to see, or you can keep it checked if you don't want to focus on those patients who are already going to be coming in at some point in the future. So those are the different options for criteria. Now, if I generate the list, just click on Create List here. It says that it might take a little bit. Usually doesn't take that long, but if you have a lot of treatment plans, it might take a minute or two. But this one was fairly quick. So I am looking now at my list here. And here, I'm going to quickly go over the grid. You'll have the patient name here in the second column, the treatment plan date, when was that actually planned out for the patient, the procedure and details about the procedures in that treatment plan. And then over here, some very useful information about your fee, the patient share, the insurance share, and overall what is their unused primary and unused secondary insurance, and then their email address. So this will give you a full breakdown to look at, and if you'd like to focus on certain patients, then you can decide that from the data that's listed here. Now, with the contact, now you have all of these patients. So if you look at my mock list here, there's so many treatment plans that are just sitting out there. I'm sure all of you have even more than this. And so you just see a huge potential here with the year-end benefits. Now the question is, how do I get going? How do I contact these patients and make sure that they are aware that they have this pending treatment and remaining benefits? So there are several options. I'll mention the less ideal ones first. So there is a way to print labels and postcards here. You can do that. That's not going to be at all the fastest method to contact them. It's sort of a traditional method to do that. You could run a report here, which I can do. And it'll give you the information in a report, and then if they have contact numbers, you can contact them and call everyone. So that's one thing that some people have done, which it's not completely inefficient, because you know that they have the pending treatment and the benefits, so you can talk about that with them. However, I would not recommend starting with that, just because we want to save you time. So a better method, I would say, is email. Before I get to text, I'm going to mention the email method. So for email, you can, this message up here, it says postcards, but it also applies to the email message. So for example, this is a default message that's in there, but I have another optional message that I just came up with, and I'm going to put that in. So, we hope you're staying safe and healthy. Your insurance benefits are expiring at the end of the year, and you have some important dental treatment. Let us help you so you get the treatment taken care of and don't leave insurance money on the table. Simply reply to this email or call us at the number below. Thanks, and we hope to see you soon. So this is a type of message you could send out. You can customize this however you'd like. And so for this demo, I'm just going to send it to one patient, but you can select who you want to send it to. If you select multiple patients, it'll go to all of them. For now, I'm going to select just Jim here and send that email. So that email has been sent. I'm going to show you quickly what that looks like. So this is the message I just got, having that description in there. And so this is a good way to send out the email and just to everyone on your list. And that will get some responses. So for the email itself, you can customize where that's coming from. And the way to do that would be, if I come out of here, it's going to be using the email that's set up in your setup, manage, and then email section right here. So you can customize this, and whatever you include in here is where they're going to be replying to. So if you have a specific email for appointment scheduling, or your office front office team, then you can use that email for sending this out. Going back to the report, I want to show you what I would say is the best method of contacting your patients, and that's using our texting system. So if you text all of these patients, it's really going to give you the best bang for your buck, and it's very simple. So if I click text, it will generate text messages for all these patients. And a couple things I want to cover here. One is if they have multiple treatment plans or procedures, it will show multiple entries. I would suggest unchecking at the very top here, unchecking the box, and then let's see, there it is. Okay, and then selecting, each. I would just put one because you don't want them to get multiple texts. So it doesn't take too long. You just go through and check the ones that you want to send it to. For now, I'm just going to send it to the test account I have here. So I will uncheck these. But one thing we are going to be updating very soon, within a week or so, is allowing for this to deduplicate so it doesn't show duplicates if it's the same patient. So that will be coming out very soon in our latest upgrade. So you won't have to uncheck and do all of that if you in the future if there's duplicates. But for now, that's certainly necessary. And so here, another thing is if you don't want to send it to someone, you can decide not to and just uncheck them as well. So if you don't want Fred to get your text for whatever reason, even though he was on the list, then you would uncheck him. And the people that are going to show up on this list are the people everyone who was on this list, this grid, who has a valid cell phone number, and you've put that in their patient info. So if they don't have a valid cell phone number in their family section, then they're not going to show up in the report. So for now, I'm going to send it to Jim. Another thing is, before I send it to Jim, I want to choose the message. Here, there's a standard message. You can create your own templates, which I've done here. I'll show you how to do that in just a minute, but this is one that I created. So again, similar to that email message regarding the benefits expiring. And the one difference here is I've given them an option, which actually you could do in the email as well, for online scheduling. So I will go over that in a moment, but first let me get this email sent or this text sent out. So this is just a mock number or a number I'm using for this purpose, and I will show you. Let me see here how it shows up. So first, let me send that out. And if you've already used it once today, it'll ask you if you want to do it again. Just click yes. And now it's been sent. And you see that message showing up on this phone. It'll pop up here in just a moment right there. So there's the message. And it will autofill the name. So it's personalized for each patient if you're using that placeholder, which is called first name. And I'll show you that in a moment. But here I've given them the option to do online scheduling. We have a great online scheduling service that integrates with PracticeWeb. We did another webinar on that pretty recently, about a month ago, and it's on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But online scheduling is a great option to give. So either reply to this text, call us, or schedule here. So you're giving really all the avenues to get them scheduled. If I look at the online scheduling link, I will show you that in a moment very quickly. I'm not going to go into detail on online scheduling because that was the subject of another webinar, but you'll have an online scheduling and it'll have a calendar here, and they can choose from a list of different appointments. So you can customize those appointment types and make sure the one that needs to be there for this campaign that you're doing is in there. So again, that is our online scheduling. I would encourage you to watch the other webinar, and if you'd like to get that going, we can get you set up on that and help you customize that. So that's, again, another great option to include. Or they can reply to the text. So let's just go ahead and do that. And so let's say they reply, and Jim asks, sounds compelling. What treatment do I have pending? And how much will insurance cover? So that's his very valid question. He's going to send it back. And while he's done that, let me get out of here so I can actually respond or look at that text message. This is the two-way texting I was referring to. Let me select a patient. It doesn't matter which patient I select. And now, go here. Oh, actually, I have to select a patient that has a number. So let's just select Jim, just for purposes of There it is. Okay. So now text message, new message came in. It's going to give you an alert. There's Jim's message right there. Sounds compelling. What treatment do I have pending? How much insurance? Now, this is what I was referring to earlier. You want to hone in on Jim because now you know that Jim is interested. So now I can spend some valuable time just with Jim to get him going. And now I can go back and check, okay, Jim is asking about that. Let me go into Jim's account and look at what the pending treatment is. You have some crown work to be done. There's a lot of things here that are pending, but and then you can look at what the insurance is going to cover. So right here, we'll show your patient share. So what I would tell Jim is, sometimes it's good to discuss. If it's more detailed, it's good to discuss over the phone if there's follow-up questions. So you could just tell him, you have some crown work and other procedures to be done based on our estimates. Insurance is prepared to cover a significant portion of that. Are you free for a call to discuss? Then you send the text back. This is Jim's phone here. It'll show up in just a moment. But this is a great kind of conversation starter. And then if you want to get on the phone and talk to him, go through all these things and give him different alternatives, and you can see that there's options that were planned out for Jim, then you can go over those different options and also the details of the insurance coverage. So that will show right there. It came up. It'll show here in just a sec. But I did get the notification. There it is. So Jim might reply, sounds great. I get off for lunch at 1 p.m. today. Can you call me then? Get off, not got off. Sorry for that typo. And then you will get that message here shortly. So this is one example of how it could go. Another example could be that you give them a very clear idea of what the treatment is and how much insurance is going to cover. And then you can have a back and forth conversation to actually get it scheduled. So going to your schedule, your appointments, and asking them, when are you available? What day and time works for you? And then you can look on your schedule and text them back and get that taken care of. So that is another scenario that you could face there. So I'm going to close this out, move this over. There's a text message right there. So there's the new message from Jim. And then, yes, will do. Okay, so that got sent out, and now you're ready to get that tied down. So just an example, it could go several different ways, but you can see how much more efficient. To recap, we sent out the mass text message. Jim was one of the interested patients. He texted back. You saw that in your two-way texting. You were able to give him a little bit more information, and then you set up a call to go over the details. And now I'm almost certain he's going to get that scheduled within the next 3 months before his insurance benefits expire. So now I mentioned that you can customize different templates if you want to for that text. So what you would do if you have texting, which is pwConnect, you would click on pwConnect and it will open up the application here. And so you would go to the text template section, select Treatment Plan Manager. And here are some of the ones I customized. So if you have an existing one that you want to change, or you want to just change the default one that we have, you can do that as much as you'd like, or you can create a brand new template, and then you have a couple of different options for different scenarios. Maybe you're focusing on different sets of procedures, so you can make it a little bit more customized here and say that you have some crown work or you have an ortho case. So that is another great approach as well, so that the text message itself is a little bit more personalized with regards to the type of treatment that's pending and maybe even how much percentage the insurance is going to cover. So you can do that here. Now, that is really the bulk of the approach. And I think this will really make a big difference for your year end. And it's a great approach to shore up all of those treatment plans, close out your year with a bang. I know it's been a difficult year for everyone. So this will help you really maximize everything you've planned for patients going back 1 to 2 years and help them help themselves, as we discussed at the beginning. So I did want to discuss a few last things with this. With support. So if you don't have support, if you don't have the latest version of PracticeWeb, which some of you may not, this treatment plan manager report has been there for a few versions, but we enhance it in every version. So if you want to get the latest capabilities and version of that, then you want to get on 20.1, which we released a few weeks ago. If you're on support, you have that as part of your support. Many of you have upgraded already. If you haven't done so, we highly encourage you to upgrade to 20.1. If you don't have support, you maybe expired earlier this year and you were wanting to renew that, then we do have a great offer right now that expires on the 31st, which is $99 a month. It's regular $129, so you'll save a few hundred per year. And that will give you the latest version. Any future upgrades we come up with, like I mentioned today, we're going to update that texting option where you don't have those duplicate patients in there or multiple entries for the same patient. So all of those types of minor and major enhancements you'll get if you're on support. Another thing about support is you get mobile and online patient forms, which have been hugely beneficial during the time of COVID-19. And in general, it's a very much paperless option for your office. Then you also get the dentist portal where you can check appointments, patient info, and more on your mobile devices. Anywhere you can access a browser, you can check that. Patient portal is great for patients. They can check their appointments, balances, and they can do secure messaging with you through that. And finally, the last two things are that we have a practice analyzer, which gives you a graphical analysis of how your practice is doing, as well as technical support. We're here. So for example, today, if you want us to come in and kind of show you in detail about how to use these strategies in your practice, we can have let's do a 15-minute call. You can do that if you're on support because we're here to help you. You just give us a call or email us and we'll definitely do a deep dive with you on how to best get this campaign going for you in this year end. Another thing is if you don't have texting, you may be on support, but you don't have texting. And again, texting is the best way to contact all these patients. That's going to be $79 a month. And that's about 50% of our regular price, which is $158. So you'll save close to $1,000 a year with this special. And that includes not only texting from the treatment plan manager, but automated texting for confirmations, reminders, recalls. You can do marketing campaigns. There's all sorts of, so just like we were able to text from the treatment plan manager report, you can text from many other lists like that, like your recall list, confirmation list, unscheduled list, ASAP list, plan tracker list. All of those have a texting feature built in, which works very similarly. And finally, you can do two-way texting, as we described, where you can communicate back and forth and get everything done very efficiently. And the last thing I'll mention is online scheduling. If you don't have that, it's $99 a month. And by the way, both of these things come with a 30-day free trial. So, and that's a typo there. It should be about $1,200 a year that you're saving. But it's going to be a 30-day free trial, so you can try before you commit to anything. It's month to month. There's no long-term commitment. Online scheduling is great. It's very popular nowadays. People love to have that convenience as patients to pick and choose based on their availability without having to talk to a live person. So this is a great thing that you can combine with the campaign that you're doing through Treatment Plan Manager for the year-end benefits. I will give you some information on how to get going on these things. If you have interest in any of this, we'll include some sign-up forms in our follow-up email. They're also on our website. If you go to our website under the pricing section, if you're interested right now in any of this, you want to get signed up, just text your name and email to that number that you see there, 916-246-6923, and what you're interested in. And I see some coming in right now, so I'll just give it a moment here, but you can send your information and we'll follow up with you directly. Or even if you're interested in getting more information about the strategies we discussed, you can text us and we'll make sure that someone on our support team reaches out to you today. Again, also the sales team here, that's their contact information. If you want to sign up for anything, it's 800-845-9379, option 1, or email us at sales@practice-web.com. So I'll leave that up there for just a few more seconds, because I see some people texting here. And then we'll move on. So again, if you need help with the strategies, call our support team, contact them. That's my contact information. So if you want to talk to me directly, I'm very accessible. We can discuss and go over how to implement this best for your practice. All right, so with that, we will end this webinar. I really appreciate you guys taking out your valuable time to attend, and we're really hoping that that half an hour you spent with us will be very fruitful in your campaign for year end. And if you have any questions, call us on support. And if you want to sign up for Renew support or get the texting or online scheduling, call us on the sales line, and we will definitely help you out. And we look forward to being a partner in your success and helping you thrive. That's why we exist, to help you thrive. Thank you, and have a nice day. Goodbye, everyone.